Hello again, I am Blunty, and this is Gunfire Reborn. And according to its description on Steam, which is where it caught my eye as an early access title as I was poking around the other day looking for new and interesting things, it is an adventure level-based game featured with FPS, roguelite, and RPG. Sounded like a fun mix of stuff to me, so I splashed down a little bit of cash and gave it a go. It is of course not the first Rogue-lite or Rogue-like to gaffer tape itself to an arcadey FPS feeling game, but it's the first one I found interesting enough to check out. Most of the other roguelite games I've played, and especially the ones I've enjoyed, have been ISO or top-down stuff like Enter the Gungeon. But speaking of checking out things, have you checked out the comment section? Hintity hinted. Perhaps the subscribe button, the bell, and the thumbs need a gentle, loving poke while they're sitting there waiting for your attention. And of course, thanks to today's sponsor, my own searing mental health hellpile. It doesn't pay, it hates me, it hates you, it hates the whole planet, and there's no link for you to click, so pretty shitty sponsor overall, really. Don't know why I bother. As it stands, in Gunfire Reborn, there's a couple of different hero characters for you to choose from, each with their own special abilities. There will undoubtedly be more to come as the game moves through its early access phase into release-ready form, but for now, it's enough to get a good feel for what they're doing here. As a roguelite, if you die, you're dead. Game over. But of course, as a roguelite, as opposed to a rogue-like, you do gradually build yourself through an ability tree as you level your character. So each time you go through, you get stronger and stronger, you get more interesting abilities, you get extra bonuses and things like that. There are some revives to earn, and although I've not tried it myself in multiplayer yet, if you are playing co-op with a pal or four, well, 4 in total, pal or 3, I guess, they can also revive you if they are quick enough and can avoid danger for long enough. Every run, you do start from scratch, moving through levels of randomly assembled dungeon chains. You start with the base weapon, and you upgrade by using randomly dropped weapons and ability scrolls as you go through the levels and kill things. So each playthrough can feel quite different from one another depending on what weapons drop, what their abilities are, what scrolls you get, what abilities those are, your gun loadout combination, and your character's own special abilities. And of course, every run through you do, it's a completely different map. Well, not completely different. I mean, they're sort of pre-assembled out of chunks and bits like that, much like Minecraft Dungeons is, but it does stop it feeling exactly the same every time you do a run through. It's like a mix of Enter the Dungeon with a little bit of Borderlands mixed in and Risk of Rain, although I never played it, but you get the idea. There's also bonus mini dungeons throughout the levels with various kinds of challenges you can risk going through in return for a chance to earn some of the more powerful scrolls and weapons in the game. Mechanically, it feels really quite solid, actually. Shooting feels pretty damn good, movement holds no surprises, and the feel of using various types of weapons and combinations and mixing your techniques and special moves against the limited but interesting variety of enemies in the game so far does feel pretty rewarding, actually. It just feels like a solid, old-school arcade shooter kind of experience. Not quite as manic as something like Doom, for example, whether old school or new school, but not quite as methodical as most of today's shooters tend to be either. It's also remarkably solid feeling by Steam's early access standards, which, let's be fair, aren't that high to begin with. I've hit no bugs, no crashes, no UI strangeness, or any of the usual quirks you might expect to awkwardly trip over in a pre-release title, especially on Steam, where quality control is a vague concept that someone at Valve heard about once but never really paid much attention to. And most importantly of all, it really does have that, oh, go on, just one more run, just one more turn. I can do better next time, I swear it, just one more, kind of feel after you unceremoniously get smooshed into the stone flooring for the 17th time that day. It's not especially deep, and there's not a ton of content here, but once more, it is an early access title. It's here to get feedback from a real-world player base on what's working and what isn't, what players want more of, what they want less of, and by those standards, I'm pretty impressed so far. The bones of the game that are here to build upon suggest it will become a pretty damn satisfying game to drop into whenever the mood strikes. The gameplay loop is simple but very satisfying. The look and feel are also nicely polished already. The design and aesthetics are clean and pleasing. Performance is smooth. I think there's room for improvement of the sound design to make things feel a bit chunkier and more satisfying on that side. No real complaints, mind you, but when writing this up, I realized I hadn't mentioned sound yet, and I realized that sound design made almost no impression on me whatsoever. So I'm mentioning that now. So if you're in the market for a roguelite shooter for some quick blast play or an entire evening's worth of grinding either solo or with mates, there's not much here I can't recommend. Again, This is fresh into early access, so don't expect this represents a full and complete end-to-end of what the game will be. This is as limited and as short as the game will ever feel. It's only hopefully going to get even better from here on in, but I think it's a fair call to say that a lot of you who are into this kind of genre mix may well enjoy it quite a lot. I already am. Almost a pity, actually, that it will get eclipsed, surely, by one of the biggest brands in the gaming industry, Minecraft, popping out its own dungeon crawler rogue-lite, with Minecraft Dungeons popping out, well, by the end of the day that I'm publishing this video, actually. But good roguelites can have very long tails, so I think it'll be okay. But obviously I was certainly satisfied with it enough that I wanted to pop up a video to help it capture a few more eyeballs. I think it deserves it. Special thanks, as always, to my patrons. You people rule with a capital R. In fact, all capitals. Capital R-U-L-E. All the capitals in rule. The rest of you, especially those of you who subbed and bell slappers and comment poppers and thumbers, yeah, you folks are neat too. Not quite as neat as the patrons. They go above and beyond. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody. So thanks for watching. I am Lunty, and I will, hopefully, catch you next time.